a little bit about myself. I basically came into like clothing as a whole, or fashion, so be it, as an instrument, as a tool to bring about my confidence, right? It just works in different ways for different people in regards to confidence, getting there. But it was a major, major, major move for me in, because I was a very shy guy, right? Quite soft-spoken, had a bit of a stutter as well that didn't help things. And like, I couldn't stand school. I just found like school just seemed to be, I just found that like I was above them all. Because I wasn't into childish things, getting into trouble. I had a stronger relationship with a lot of the art teachers in the school. And one of the reasons why I think my relationship with them was even stronger, because I was a kid who was like a poor reader, poor speller. But with art, I just felt that there was no rules. I didn't have to put a full stop, right? Or a capital here and there. You know, okay, there might be the vanishing point in creating a picture, but overall, it was free, yeah? So like, anyway, coming from that artistic standpoint, I was modeling for a short time, which a lot of my friends who know me as a child, if they meet me now, right, like, Johnny hasn't experienced this yet, but if from back in the day saw me now, they would just laugh, right? Because they know that boy, right? They know that boy. They would just laugh, right? And they have, right? So what happened for me, around that time, what was relevant to me in style is that you had different genres of music. It was really Pacific at that time. Reggae, roots, you had your rock, you had your funk, you had your soul, and everything had a kind of like a style for each music. So you'd be walking 10 meters behind one guy or behind anyone, and you would know by how they're dressed what they're into. Girl or guy, you just knew what they were into. If they were a mod, rude boy, a rocker, soul boy, casual, whatever, you just knew, yeah? I couldn't afford to play out that scene the way I wanted to. I knew what clothing I liked. I knew how to pull it together, but I didn't have the money to do it. But I was in college at that time, and what I learned from, I was in college doing leather goods and footwear, and what I learned and what I took from college, what made me put two and two together, because in college they showed me how to use a sewing machine, right? How to make uppers, cut patterns, put it all together, sewing, right? So I said to my mum, you know how to make a pair of trousers? Do you know how to make a shirt? What kind of question are you asking me, son? She was in total bewilderment. But she told me, if that's what you want to do, she told me what to do. Get the pattern, bring it home, get some paper, and that was it for me. A no-brainer. Once I started creating my own clothing for me, how I saw it, because I was looking at what other people were doing, but I was never the kind of dude to kind of like see something and copy it. Never. Anything I've ever done, I've never wanted to see something and copy it. Anything I've ever done or got involved in it, I get involved and I make it my own. I put my mark on it, right? So what happened on doing that, I started getting a response from other people, which I wasn't too surprised actually, because I was quite confident of what I was doing. I was moving around a lot of the funk and soul scene, yeah? So I was playing around with different fabrics, which wasn't really done for the time and everything else of it. But I was still relatively shy with women. But it was that transition in making the clothing which gave me the confidence to speak to women, to go into certain venues, certain clubs where I didn't think I'd get in because I wasn't a member or I didn't look a particular way. But I knew once I had those pieces of clothing on, which I designed for the time, I was the only one with them. And that was styling for me in a nutshell, the beginning. So I don't know how you all feel about styling, or fashion as individuals, but there is a difference. I'll start off by saying that there really is no wrong way or right way to styling. When we were out with Graham, and I asked Graham certain questions with regards to styling, he felt like that in some instances, he felt like he was a little bit kind of like lost in the question, not really knowing how to answer it. So the way I had to approach him is like, what kind of woman are you attracted to? And the reason why I say that, as Brandon said, if it's like a nice day, she's wearing a pair of jeans, going by what kind of top she's wearing or what kind of accessories she's wearing, going by the kind of women that you may feel yourself being attracted to, you should be mirroring that. And mirroring that doesn't mean that it has to look feminine. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about that. But bearing in mind, like the type of woman that you are attracted to, going by your styling and disposition of fashion and everything else of it, you may want to move, if you're not already in that circle, to attract that type of woman, right? And this is where I think styling is a very powerful tool, okay? Because as you made the right definition and yourself, Tony, fashion is something that can phase in or come or go as a trend. And I don't put forward fashion onto any of my clients. That is fashionable, that's the look, that's the cut, that's what you got to get. No. I tend to work with the individual and in identifying what I think is going to elevate that person to get that desired look that they're looking for, okay? Because often you would get images from clients saying, okay, I like this, that, X, Y, B, and I always put in the question, well, why do you like that? What is it about that look that you like? And they usually send images of men that these men clearly look after themselves, clearly have a particular build, right? And if you're wanting to project that, it means first and foremost identifying what it is in your well-being and how you feel about your body, right? Because it doesn't make sense to try to kind of like, you know, put a certain image up there and then just try to jump into that skin. It needs to be tailored and styled to what you are if you're not that given shape. But if you're serious, first and foremost, you have to be comfortable with self and then build on that. So I've got something here which says like the way in which styling is the way in which something is made, designed or performed, right? And I feel if the styling game is something that you are willing to take on board, I think you all should, regardless of where you are or where you think you may be with regards to style. Because, you know, when you get into styling in that way, then you are in turn creating your own film. You know, you are the director. At the end of the film, you get the girl if you choose to. It is a lifestyle. Style, first and foremost, in meeting a woman, tells a woman straight away who you are. You're a leader. It spells that. You know, it has a nice subtle edge of confidence about it as well before you even open your mouth. Okay? Sorry, this thing is really sensitive, man. Flip. Hold on. So, in saying that, and I've said this before, if you think of a woman when she prepares herself to get ready, her approach to getting ready, they're well ahead of us in terms of getting it done. They approach an evening or an event strategically. If they're going out with girls or if they're meeting a man for the first time or meeting friends from work, everything is strategic with regards to their fragrances, whether they're wearing pants, a skirt or a dress, absolutely everything. And I think that's how we should be thinking, going by what we want to attract and how we want to attract it, yeah? And I think it definitely means kind of like putting something in action to execute just that. When you guys, in going out with either Johnny or Danny, you always hear about the opening or about the execution, right? And once these things are clothed and styled, and you have those gems all in one place, right? It's about feeling that confidence. We're not talking about being arrogant and being cocky now, but it's about knowing exactly what you're doing when it comes to styling. Because when you meet the right woman, you will be complimented about it, yeah? And it will be noticed. Yeah, it's a powerful tool. And it is a slow process in finding the right items of clothing that work for you. I mean, if I was to work with you individually, first and foremost, it'd be like, a questionnaire subject to what you're looking at and what your experiences are, and then actually going through your wardrobe. Because I mean, ideally, if the ideal woman you see if you see a really, really hot woman out there that is your thing and dressed the way you like her to be dressed, if you walk past her and she don't notice you, you ain't cutting it. Yeah. And that's being real. Yeah, you just ain't cutting it. I ain't saying what you're wearing is bad, but if you're styled, and when we're talking style, we're talking grooming, we're talking fragrances as well. There are certain fragrances that you should not wear in spring if they smell kind of earthy and kind of fall, winter. You do not do it, right? It's only not until you understand styling and grooming in that level that you just will not wear a winter fragrance for like a summer. Most guys just have a fragrance because they like it, they wear it all year round. No, man, when it comes down to styling, that trump card and you put it together, they know, right? When you come into the party and it's springtime or it's autumn or fall and you smell warm and earthy, she's gonna sniff you out. I'm telling you, man, I've experienced it personally, right? Yeah, it literally is like that. And it's not kind of saying, it's not looking at it in terms of it being a wrong or a right way, but there is a way, just like the guys have been showing you today with your execution, your openings, your closings. It's exactly the same thing with styling. It really is no different. It's just that it isn't verbal, so it's a different kind of energy. You're dealing with pheromones and, chemistry and body behavior. And when your body behavior, whether you be training, you've got that nice posture and the clothes just hang on you. You know what I mean? You're putting, if you look at a word, where a word could become a book or a great novel or a great film or a strong verse in a film, strong verse in a song, and then springing out to a chorus, it's the same thing in developing your own vocabulary through styling, right? And that's what we call the Jedi gems of styling, of putting it all together. It's a holistic approach. It all works together. Okay. I didn't even know there was fragrance for different seasons. Sorry? Oh, definitely, man. How do we find that out? Oh man, I mean, if you go to a good perfumery, a very good one, yeah, not like the random ones. Oh, hey, sir. If you actually sit down with someone who knows what they're talking about, and you start speaking to them in that way, right? I want something for spring, right? What do you like, sir? If it's a situation where they have, a bit of a questionnaire. Do you like warm? Do you like spicy? Do you like sensual? Do you like opulence? All these things are measures. All these fragrances have high notes and different tones. And they all react to all of us all differently, right? Going by the alkali balance of your sweat and everything, they all work with us in different ways, right? That's why when someone walks past you and you smell a fragrance, it might remind you of someone, right? Because there's some top key flavors that are in all these fragrances. But once you find the one, and you have that styling together, different level. You be speaking to the woman, right? You purge yourself, right? You got everything in order. You be speaking to this woman. You know But just by the expression on the face, she's just smelling you. And it isn't that kind of overpowering fragrance where like it's sharp and stuff. No, this is quality. It just enters the woman, man. And it works with the pheromone and that whole sexual thing. This is real. It really is like that. I've experienced it firsthand, yeah?
I remember the museum when we were over there.
Sorry?
At the museum over there in London.
Yeah.
This girl that had a boyfriend was like talking to you and like even like.
Yeah, I don't think it was that way. Might have been the fragrance. I don't know. We didn't go into that, did we? Yeah. But coming back to styling, styling is a dance. It is a dance, and people talk. Have heard Johnny and Danny say about, you take that dance with the lady in conversation. You're having that dance in conversation. Styling is exactly the same thing. Because when you're dealing with styling with regards to the self, you're dealing with certain tensions that you might not be comfortable with. For you, you mentioned colors come first, right? I do understand that, but for me, I'm more of a feely guy, right? For me, it's all about the weight, right? So if it's, say, spring, and it's a quite warm night, I want a light jacket, but I don't just want it to be a lightweight, I want to feel it on my body. Because I'm not going to be wearing much underneath it, but is there something about feeling that jacket and give me an additional sense of confidence in when I roll up to someone and I know that the fabric is fitting in a particular way, right? Yeah? So there is a tension in playing with weights and textures and stuff like that. And once you step into that arena of styling and you find that you could identify with that, right? You will feel that it is an ebb or flow of energy where I might just put the bullet points there for you to kind of like roll with. But once you actually dig in yourself and find where you are with it, you find that, man, pieces will just come out of the woodwork. The clothes will find you. The clothes will find you. And then when you meet that woman that you like, it will get to a point that you're so in your flow with the styling now, you find that you're having to help her put her thing together. And what does that do? It's a good thing. You're not that kind of man saying, "Oh, hurry up! It's been 5 minutes already." You're part of the process now of helping her get it together. And women love that. You're giving her time, and it's beautiful if you could get it in that kind of way, right? So with styling, again, I say, like, if it's something that you want to go for or a look that you really, really like, you're not too sure if you could pull it off, but you really want it and like that look and want to achieve that look, then go for it. Experience it, right? If it's there a particular cut, go for it. If it means, can you make a cheaper option of that? Yes, you could buy a cheaper option, go to some approaching these women. You're not exactly sure what kind of response you're going to get with it. There's the openings that you guys are making today. You were put on it, experiencing it, bang, bang, bang. Fashion, sorry, not fashion. I don't like to use that word too often. Styling, a similar thing. Get involved and feel it, because you will not be that person just at the party. You would have arrived. Yeah, and you'd be noticed. And I'm not saying it's the kind of thing where you're doing it to be noticed. First and foremost, you're doing it for yourself, to feel good about you. Don't dress for anybody else. Even if a woman wants you to dress a particular way, regardless of how you may feel about her, comfort first and foremost starts from within you, what you feel comfortable wearing, right? And once you get that and you're comfortable, you're halfway there. Styling is also linked to sensitivity, I think, because if you look back into like the 16th, 17th century, they used to change their clothing at least 5 to 6 times a day. Does anybody know why? 16th, 17th century, why they used to do that? Sorry? Because they were ballers. They didn't take baths. The bath wasn't invented then. They used to throw their poo out of windows and stuff like that, yeah? So styling was even more relevant. They had to change their clothing, right? Because there was no such thing as washing. They may have washed maybe once a year, but it wasn't like that kind of thing. Like with, it just wasn't like that. Yeah. So so you being able to have so many changes in a given day, or even have a fabric like linen, it was like buying a masterpiece on the wall. It was very, 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 very expensive. Yeah. But that's how it was. So again, just to kind of like recap, I just wanted to, just kind of like briefly touch on the subject. Again, in thinking about styling, it's not like a difficult thing. But like I said, within my own experience, it kind of like brought me out to who and what I was. I know if I'm ready to go out, I feel good in what I'm wearing, regardless of what it is. I never feel underdressed or overdressed for one reason only, because I'm comfortable in what I'm wearing. You know, um, I never ask about, oh, what should I wear to this or what should I wear to that. It's irrelevant to me, as long as I feel good in the cut that I'm putting together. And this is what styling will do. Again, I know I keep on using that word, though it's not the whole thing of being arrogant or anything like that, but it's about coming into yourselves and coming into your own being just with your technique of approaching women. It's exactly the same thing. Do you have any questions on that? So if you don't have an idea on what you like, or if you do have an idea on what you like, you may do a Google search, right? From that Google search, you will, I would say, put a mood board together, right? And you might find yourselves doing, if you're working with a stylist, that it be narrowed down, right? But at the same time, I would say, don't think so much in the line of fashion or what's hip, Try to look at what's hip, but take it and have you do your own impression with that, right? So it may be a pair of stay pressed trousers, right? Everyone's bringing their trousers in Europe anyway, wearing their trousers a lot more higher up, what they call the dandy boys, yeah. There's no reason why you can't take on that if that works for you, but the way you complete your upper area or how you work with accessories, whether it be bangles or rings or whatever, or a hat, could make all the difference to how you personally put it together. Yeah. So it just means starting off with these little things and just doing little researches and stuff like that. And even looking at, you say you're into rock, right? So a lot of the bands that you listen to, most of them kind of like wear black, right? Right. So you might kind of like, you know what that particular look and image is and what that represents, you being a lover of that kind of music. But there's no reason why you can't change that up, right? Where you could accessorize with a hat, or you could kind of like have the trouser cut in a particular way for you to wear another type of footwear, right? It's all about using your imagination, the same way as if you're speaking to a woman and you want to make it an interesting day. When we were in the car and we were speaking about dates and stuff, and I said, I took this late, when me and Danny was in the car as well, right? And I said, like, one of my first, I didn't even see it as a date, because I don't kind of use that word really, right? But when I went out with this woman, we flew a kite, right? But it was totally kind of like, it was just one of these things that was so simple and it didn't take the imagination or take much thinking about it at all. It was just there and it happened. I think there definitely has to be an organic feel in putting things together. You shouldn't be forced, But coming back to your point with regards to color as well, I find like colors always seem to come more into the mix around summer and spring, and there's a reason for that. I think it's quite reflective of nature, sun going up, sun going down, sunsets, plant life, birds of color, plumage, all this kind of thing. You think about those kind of things. It's like it's a very productive month, and you do think about colors first and foremost then. And you should be as well, because colors, not everyone could wear color. Some people feel uncomfortable wearing color. You should find a lot of women that are overweight wear black, regardless of what month, what season it is, because black tends to make them look smaller. They would always wear. You go out tonight, and you see any woman looking slightly overweight. I guarantee you, 98% of the time they're wearing black. Yeah. So don't be part of that gang, right? But yeah, Tony, just take it one step at a time. You know, if you need to ask me any questions or send me an email, I could easily kind of like send you a couple of tips, right? But don't feel as though, don't be phased out by, you know, by a height or anything like that. Just go by what works for you and go for what you like. And if you come across the right tailor or the right stylist, you kind of like, who could point you in the right direction, you won't come too far off the tracks. Yeah.